everybody, Matt Squatch here, out in the woods of Southern California in Idlewild. Glorious day up here. It's in the high 40s, lots of squirrels and birds running around. No signs of the big man up here yet. But that's one thing obviously I wanted to talk to you guys about that I talk about on my channel all the time is Bigfoot. And one question that was been posted to me and comes up every now and then, and something I've noticed, is some Bigfoot researchers don't like the term Bigfoot. Now, I use them pretty interchangeably, Bigfoot, Sasquatch. I kind of get it in certain situations, like Sasquatch Chronicles. I love the show. It would be the same show, like they say a rose by any other name would still smell as sweet. But for me, I think Bigfoot Chronicles doesn't sound as great as Sasquatch Chronicles, or Matt Foot Presents doesn't have the same ring as Matt Squatch Presents. To me, I really don't care, but I understand certain researchers want to have a little more legitimacy of it. I likened it to kind of how some people like to call them as cougars as opposed to calling them as mountain lions, because mountain lions are not really a lion. They're not even technically a big cat. They're more closely related to smaller domestic cats. But, you know, mountain lion, everybody knows that. People kind of know the name cougar. And to me, that's all it is. It's just another name for the same creature. I don't have a problem with it. As you guys are familiar with my work, I use them interchangeably, but some researchers and some have written whole blogs and whole books and whole sections saying that they don't really like the name Bigfoot. And like I said, the term Bigfoot was from the white settlers that came when they were headed out west. They were finding these huge footprints in the mud and the dirt and the miners and stuff like that, and they went, wow, Bigfoot. And it's like, yeah, they have big feet, but they have big legs and big arms and big heads and big torsos. They're giant creatures. And Sasquatch is from a Native American term. I forget the official term. It's like Saskavay or something like that. And it's kind of an angelicanized conglomerate word pushed together to make Sasquatch. So whatever you call them. And I mean, all over the world, you know, if you say Yeti, if you say hairy man, was kind of before Bigfoot kind of came into the vernacular and Sasquatch came into vernacular in the 50s and 60s. You look at a lot of the historical reports, they referred to them as wild men of the woods. The natives called them hairy man. And it was very interesting how even after the discovery of apes, up until the 50s and 60s when modern science really got involved, there was no real ape theory. There were always the wild man of the woods or the wild woman of the woods. Like the Kwakwak Ewok tribe, they have the Zunaqua, which is the wild woman of the woods. By the way, if I look distracted, it's because they're squirrels. I'm totally like, squirrel! Look at these big, giant gray squirrels the size of chihuahuas up here. Man, it's kind of a nice day. Anyway, so yeah, when some Bigfoot researchers don't like the name Bigfoot, I'm just kind of, you know, you call them whatever you want, but kind of like in any subject, you know, whether we were into bird watching or cars, where people are like, oh, you know, it's not a Chevelle, it's a Malibu, or, you know, oh, the 350 small block, the LS, it technically has nothing to do with this. I mean, people get hung up on terminology, and those people always kind of drive me nuts, like grammar Nazis or misspelling people, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I misspelled something, and, you know, you don't have an argument, you're just calling me out on my misspelling, and it's like, well, that's not the point of what I'm trying to do. So people who get hung up on titles or correct terms, I mean, I get it, you want to be factually correct because it brings legitimacy to a subject. And I try to be as accurate as possible. And most enthusiasts or researchers want to be as accurate as possible to bring, you know, credibility and science to this, to bring our passion, you know, to the masses and be accurate as possible. But people make mistakes, people misspeak, people miswrite, people make typos, people just aren't very good spellers. I'm a terrible speller. So yeah, some people get really hung up on it, and some people are very, you know, anal retentive about that stuff and very precise and have spreadsheets for everything, and other people just wing their whole lives. And I'm somewhere in the middle, so I try to use proper terms and try to use proper science and everything else. But yeah, you know, when people don't like the term Bigfoot, I'm like, yeah, you call it whatever you want, but I don't agree with, if you don't like the term Bigfoot, don't correct people, don't push your own views on people about it. If you think they're an animal, that's great. If you think they're a type of human, that's great. If you think they're all paranormal, that's great. I mean, like Wes Germer always says, we don't have one in our garage that we're studying. And that's kind of the term researcher. I don't mind saying researcher. I think Bigfoot enthusiasts, people who are really into this, kind of don't like the term researcher, but I think more casual people are like, oh yeah, Bigfoot, I'd watch a video about that. or people who are more into the paranormal subjects or UFO subjects don't mind the term researcher. It's kind of only really the Bigfoot people that don't like that term. So using terms like Bigfoot and using terms like researcher, the hardcore community, which I don't consider myself a part of, don't like that term. The real mainstream scientific people, the people you see on TV shows, the people who have written books, they kind of prefer the term Sasquatch. And like I said, that's all on them. But for me, if it makes it accessible, if I say Bigfoot, people instantly know what it is. And if I say Sasquatch, maybe they have something different in their mind than the North American Bigfoot. But like all over the world, like Orang Pendek, Yeti, Yeren, Yowie, a lot of Y names in there. The Almast or Almasty. There's all sorts of there's all sorts of terms for these things all over the world. And so yeah, I think it's just kind of arguing semantics at this point. And like I said, it's a free country, at least here in America. You call them whatever you want. So yeah, that's kind of my opinion on people not really wanting to call them Bigfoot and wanting to give them other names. There's many Native American nations and tribes that had these things, and they all had a different name for them. And so I think when as long as you understand it, when you say Yeti or Sasquatch, the North American Bigfoot or wood ape. Sorry, there's a squirrel going nuts over there. When you say that kind of stuff, it's like, as long as you understand, we're all talking about the same thing. Like cougar, catamount, mountain lion, we're all talking about the same thing. So anyway, that's just something I wanted to put out there for you guys. Stay safe in the woods. It's not just Bigfoot. Sometimes, I don't know if you guys can see it. There's a couple of squirrels over there chasing each other, running around the trees. Squirrels are getting frisky, aren't they? Anyway, you take it easy, folks, and stay safe in the woods.